Imagine waking up in the middle of the night. Your eyes are open. You can see your room. You can hear faint sounds. You are aware, but you cannot move. Not your arms, not your legs, not even your voice. For a few seconds or sometimes longer, your body feels completely frozen. This is sleep paralysis, and while it can feel frightening, it is actually a natural part of how the brain works during sleep. To understand sleep paralysis, we need to return to something we explored earlier in this series: REM sleep. During REM sleep, your brain becomes highly active, dreams become vivid, emotional centers activate, visual regions light up, but at the same time, your brain sends signals to temporarily disable your voluntary muscles. This process is called muscle atonia. It prevents you from physically acting out your dreams in normal REM sleep. You are completely unaware of this paralysis because you are fully asleep. But sometimes, the timing between brain systems becomes slightly misaligned. Your mind wakes up, your body does. Not this overlap creates sleep paralysis. Sleep paralysis is not a separate sleep stage. It is a boundary condition, a transitional state between REM sleep and wakefulness. Normally, these transitions are smooth. The brain turns off REM mechanisms before full awareness returns, but occasionally, awareness activates first and muscle atonia remains temporarily active. The result? Consciousness without movement. Many people also report another feature during sleep paralysis: hallucinations. These hallucinations can feel extremely real. A presence in the room, shadows, voices, pressure on the chest. Why does this happen? Because during REM sleep, the brain is already generating dream imagery. Visual and emotional circuits are active. If you regain awareness, while dream imagery is still partially active, your brain may project dream content into your perception of the real room. You are seeing your environment, but your brain is still dreaming. Emotional intensity can be strong because the amygdala is active. Fear responses are. Heightened logic is slower to engage. This combination can make the experience feel threatening, but it is not dangerous. It is a temporary overlap between dreaming and waking systems. Let's break this down neurologically. During REM sleep, the brainstem activates REM circuits. The spinal cord receives inhibitory signals. Voluntary muscles remain relaxed. The cortex generates dream imagery. If the cortex regains waking awareness before the brainstem stops sending inhibitory signals, sleep paralysis occurs within seconds to a few minutes. The brainstem releases inhibition. Muscle control returns. The experience ends. Sleep paralysis is more common than many people realize. Research suggests that around 20 to 30% of people experience it at least once in their lifetime. It is especially common in teenagers and young adults, people with irregular sleep schedules, those under stress. Individuals who sleep on their back stress and sleep deprivation increase REM instability. When REM becomes fragmented, boundary states are more likely. This makes sleep paralysis episodes slightly more frequent. Historically, sleep paralysis has been interpreted in many ways. Different cultures describe shadow figures, spirits, or supernatural presences. These interpretations made sense before neuroscience could explain the experience, when the brain generates fear and vivid imagery while the body is immobile. The mind searches for meaning, but modern research shows that these experiences are consistent with REM intrusion. The brain is blending dream imagery with waking perception. There are three main types of hallucinations. During sleep paralysis, intruder hallucinations, a sensed presence or shadow figure, chest pressure hallucinations, a feeling of weight or difficulty breathing. Vestibular motor hallucinations, A, sensation of floating or moving. All of these can be explained by REM-related neural activity. The chest pressure sensation, for example, occurs because breathing muscles are relaxed during REM. Your breathing continues automatically. But awareness of muscle inhibition can create the sensation of HEAVINS. Importantly, sleep paralysis does not indicate mental illness. It is not a sign of brain damage. It is not dangerous. It is simply a temporary mismatch between waking consciousness and REM. Physiology: episodes typically last from a few seconds to a couple of minutes. They end naturally. When REM inhibition stops, there is also a connection between sleep paralysis and lucid dreaming. Both involve partial awareness during REM. In fact, some lucid dreamers report that sleep paralysis can act as a gateway. If a person remains calm during paralysis, they may transition back into a dream with awareness. However, this requires training and emotional control. For most people, the experience is brief and harmless. So, what can reduce sleep paralysis episodes? The most effective strategy is consistent sleep. Regular sleep schedules stabilize REM cycles. Reducing stress also lowers REM. Fragmentation, sleeping on your side rather than your back, may reduce frequency for some individuals. And perhaps most importantly, understanding what it is reduces fear. Fear amplifies the emotional response. Knowledge reduces uncertainty. When you know that sleep paralysis is simply REM overlap, the experience becomes less threatening. Sleep paralysis reveals something important about the flexibility of consciousness. It shows that sleep and wakefulness are not rigid states. They are dynamic systems that can overlap. Your brain does not switch modes instantly. It transitions, and sometimes those transitions briefly intersect. Tonight, when you fall asleep, your brain will once again cycle through REM. Muscle atonia will activate, dreams will form, and most of the time, everything will remain perfectly synchronized. But if you ever wake and find yourself unable to move for a few seconds, remember this: your brain is still finishing its REM cycle. Your body is safe. The state will pass. Sleep paralysis is not a malfunction. It is a glimpse into the hidden mechanics of dreaming.